Hello everyone, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome to the new mini series of junk journal flip throughs. This one is called Lexi. Let's have a look. Brown microfiber on the back and that lovely vintage looking fabric on the front. I really love the colors here, really warm browns and this beautiful blue with green and a few orange flowers. Also has corner protectors and it's 3 signature journal. I've done a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch to join everything together and added a little bit of lace here for decoration. So let's have a look what Lexi has to say to us. It's another spring inspired journal. In this series I've used a printable of my eco prints here on the front and the back, and I just stamped these images. I recently purchased this stamp and I really love it. It's really nice. Okay, you will notice that this journal is very similarly constructed to the previous one in the series. If you haven't seen it, I will leave the link down below. But I've used different papers and different colors throughout the journal. Here's a little cluster of laces and a flower to decorate this corner pocket. You can place things here. And there's some stencil work and some stamp work here. I really like this look. This spread is interesting. Very nice colors. I will leave down below all the links that are relevant to this journal. Here's a magazine page or a catalog from a nursery shop where they sell flowers, and I thought it was very nice. Okay, I will also leave the link to all the digital kits that I might have used in the construction of this journal. This paper is still looking green after more than a year, almost 1.5 years since I've done it, using blueberries and pomegranate skin, and it's still green and I love it. And this one is just with the blueberries. Slightly different color, isn't it? And this one was done with coffee, but I've added dried up Inca Gold paint. It was totally dried up, so I just dissolved it a little bit in the coffee, and now the page looks as if I painted it with gold. And I really like how this stamp looks here. Here we have a little collage strip that I've turned into a belly band. It spells the word art. 2 butterflies. Some stencil work here and a stamp there. Lots of dyed papers in this journal. And this one has this envelope in the center of the signature, just like the journal number 1 from the series. And I love this. We have a pocket here and a tuck spot there. And I've done some stencil work. This was a scrapbooking paper that was cut from here and used to create these elements, much the same as in the other journal that I've shown you before this one. I was very inspired to do these journals, and I thought, why not share some journals as an inspiration? And we can always do tutorials at a later date. That's from that tutorial when I've created little decorations with small pieces of fabric. I really like this one. I think in that video I've shown you just with the leaves, but then I've added these flowers at a later stage. I like how it looks. Okay, and then here we have an envelope that was recycled envelope that was altered, and there's that magazine, and I folded this part like that because I like this but I wasn't fond of what was here. But once I glued the envelope, it became like an interactive part. Okay, and then that's a pocket there. Okay, I think I've done this envelope also in one of the videos. Okay, some stencil work there. That's that one, and that is the end of signature number 1. We have a pocket here too. All right, now we have the middle signature, and I love how this one turned out. Okay, there's a pocket in here, and this particular scrapbooking paper had some lace printed there, but then I thought I'll just add a real lace as well, and one of those butterflies that I like to make. There is a tutorial on that, and there's also a free template for you if you'd like to create some. I really love making those butterflies. Just going through the scraps of fabric and paper and creating some. It's a nice relaxing activity for me. And here I've used stencil on this paper that was dyed with autumn leaves. Okay, here we have some mushrooms. Well, that's also from a magazine. It's a Smart Plants, and that's a walnut, I think, leaf. So I've turned that into a pocket because what was on the other side wasn't really interesting. It was just some ads. I think it looks good. Again, here we have a dyed paper, and I think I've used several different dyes. As you can see, it's more like brown here and more blue in the middle, and it has those kind of like darker areas that are probably from the rust. Here's one of the little collages that I like to make with fabric pieces. Another dyed paper, and I use just the edge cutter. A page from an old planner from 1996. Some stencil work here. This paper was dyed with tea, that's why it looks a little bit pink. And this one was dyed, I think it was dyed with pomegranate and a bit of beetroot, and there was something else, but I can't remember. But it looks kind of green and pink and brown at the same time. I really love how it turned out. I used the stencil on top, and there's a little flower I cut out from different paper scraps. Okay, and here we have this paper. This was actually a digital print that I've dyed on the other side, and then it dissolved all the inks and they seep through to the other side and created this wonderful effect, and just added a little bit of stencil work to make it a bit more interesting. Now here we have several pockets. There are deep pockets here, and there are smaller pockets there. Okay. There's the other side of that page. It's one of those flowers that I created with my own stamps that I cut out from the craft foam. We've done a video on that. And I think with this one I stamped with distressed oxides, and then I sprayed with water and it dissolved, and then I just used a marker to do the line work again, and I've added some contour paint on top just to give it a bit more texture. But I really love how the ink kind of created this effect all the way around. Okay. Lots of writing space in this one. So there's that other side of that magazine page, and there's a pocket here. Okay, I think can be glued here on top of that, or just leave as a text. Text has a decorative purpose as well, I suppose. I love how that paper feels like. And then here, the end of second signature, we have a deep pocket in there. Again, some stencil work. And that is the back of that paper. And then we come to the third signature. I really love how this flower turned out. I've used those faux botanical papers with napkins and bits and pieces of flowers and leaves. I have a tutorial on that. And then I just cut out these flowers. There's also a tutorial on that, on how to cut these flowers. And I just attached everything together with a brad or a split pin. Okay, here we have another pocket. It's a digital of my eco print. And here we have a little jelly print on book page. And then I've just created this little tuck spot with a piece of handmade paper and some flowers that I cut with a punch. Added some contour paint and a shadow just with a pencil. I have one of those pomegranate dyed papers. I love how rich that yellow is. That was a stencil on top. I really like how this turned out. That's the other side of it. And this was grape juice dyed paper. It stayed the same color even after 2 years. I really love that purple, grayish purple color. Okay. And another napkin paper with leaves trapped inside. I've used Sizzix and starch to join them together, so there's no glue in this one. And I've used ghost prints from the napkin. I left the edges uneven on purpose. I just like them like this. This was done, I think, with walnut leaves. That color is walnut leaves, I believe. Really dark. And a full rice paper. Okay. Napkin. And I mixed coffee with clear glue this time. I did not use white glue. I used clear glue and coffee instead of water. And then you get this effect. I really like that. It's very decorative. And what do we have here? Yeah, more pockets. This is done with rust. And as you can see, some of the rust went through the paper on the other side. Maybe it's not that obvious. It's obvious here, around the edges. And then here we have several pockets. And then we go to the other side. Lots of writing space and lots of room to decorate further and have hours and hours of fun creating content for it. So just a stamp. It's a little cluster. There's that. And a little pocket here. And there's a little charm with a flower. So that is the end of this one. Let's have a look in this ephemera pack. I've created a little envelope with a napkin and tissue paper. I mentioned this in the previous video from this series. I really like it. It sounds wonderful. Okay, we have that same napkin here. That's what it looks like before you do this to it. And we have a little doily and two little fabric collages. My favorite pastime. An eco print of a hazelnut tree leaf. These can be cut and turned into tags or cards. And we have another paper that was done with starch and Sizzix and cactus flower petals in between. I like how it turned out. And then over here we have some laminated plants. There's a rose, there's that one that I don't know what it is, and there's bougainville flowers. I picked these up when I was on my holiday in Croatia last summer. I got some home, dried them, and then laminated, and they stayed pink around the edges. I just really love how they turned out. Okay, and they all go into this little envelope. So that is the little ephemera pack. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through, and I hope it gave you lots of inspiration and ideas for your own journals. This one is already sold and it's going to Italy. I've been to Italy many years ago and I really loved the experience. I'd love to go one day again. So anyway, my journal is going to go there before I do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon in the next episode of this mini junk journal flip through series. Bye for now.